what would I say to other people who are afraid to niche and exclude potential clients? That is something I'm working on right now too. And that's a mindset. That's a scarcity mindset that there's not going to be enough for you in your particular niche. And I just don't believe that in my conscious, and I'm trying to get my subconscious to get on board with me.
Have you hit a wall when it comes to growing your business? Then welcome to the Wingnut Social podcast, helping home professionals and luxury brands accelerate their success with proven marketing strategies and expert industry practices. Now, here's your host, Darla Powell.
BuildLane is a platform that makes it super easy for designers to specify custom furniture. They are changing the game. The end result is an unleashing of your creativity. Whatever you can imagine can be built. And whether or not you're a novice at custom furniture design or an expert, BuildLane's team can make the process super easy. Head on over to buildlane.com. That's buildlane.com. Use code WINGNUT250 to get a $250 discount just for you. Buildlane.com. This podcast is also brought to you by guess who? Wingnut Social. We are a digital marketing agency for interior designers and adjacent verticals such as home pros, architects, landscapers, decorators, home stagers, home business coaches, you name it. Give us a call at 786-206-4331 or go look at our case studies from our happy interior design clients at wingnutsocial.com. That's wingnutsocial.com. Hey guys, welcome to the Wingnut Social podcast. I'm your host, Darla Jethro Powell, the grand high poobah of all things Wingnut at Wingnut Social, the marketing agency for interior designers. Today on the show, we have Erica Reiner, and Erica is going to tell us all about how niching into eco-friendly design has helped her firm, her business, and her personally to be a happier, more fulfilled interior designer, how she markets to that end to get those ideal clients. And you know, eco design is a huge movement. It's a big growing industry. Thankfully, I love it. I'm a Taurus, so I love all things earth, mud, trees, and dirt. Throw all that at me. Maybe even literally. I don't mind getting dirty. I think I love the direction that it's going. And I think that the impact COVID has made just people a little bit more aware as to the importance of being healthy in our spaces, in our life, and etc. So Erica's going to give us all the skinny on that. And she also joins us in the premium, in Wingnut Premium, the bonus extra members only episode afterwards, because not only do we extend this conversation about green design and the impact it's had on the industry and her business, eco-friendly design, but she has a special method that she uses in order to get referrals from her interior design clientele. And when she told me what it was, I was like, oh, that is so sweet. What a great idea. And let me tell you, it's not expensive at all. So if you're not a Wingnut Premium member, head on over to wingnutpremium.com to get all the goods on that. Not only do you get the extended bonus episodes each week, either with a guest or with myself with some helpful, friendly tips and advice and insights on mindset and running your interior design business, but you get a monthly content calendar to plan your Instagram content out each month, at the risk of being redundant, but even more importantly, and the thing that's had the biggest impact besides the bonus episodes, which I love doing and I'm very proud of, is monthly on our premium Facebook group, which is, again, members only. We have a little get-together, a little mini interior design mastermind brouhaha, where designers will ask me questions about their marketing. We'll review their marketing, myself and my team. Any questions? It's an open free-for-all, many enter, only one can leave. No, I'm just kidding. That's a cage match. And it's a lot of fun. We get a lot of value out of it. And not only do you get value from myself and my team, but it's a peer-to-peer kind of thing too. You can learn from questions that other designers are asking that maybe you haven't thought of, and other designers may have some answers to something design and business related. It's just a really, really great thing. And I love it so, so much. And our next mastermind for the month of August is going to be to 1 p.m. on August the 25th. So you have plenty of time to get over there, register, become a member of Wingnut Premium at wingnutpremium.com and get in on the mastermind sesh. I look forward to seeing you there. Okay, before we get into my interview with Erica Reiner, y'all know what time it is. It's time for mini news sesh. Yeah! All right. We welcome back Emily Lisi, who is the digital content manager for Wingnut Social. And Emily, I am super excited about the potential of this new feature that Instagram is rolling out. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, this is a super exciting one. It's what Instagram is calling a collab feature. So what this is going to be is it's going to let two users on Instagram basically collab together on a feed post or a reel.
Okay, so what do you mean by collab? Like you can tag the other person in there? Because they've been doing that. What do you mean by this?
Yeah, so the way that it'll work, it won't be exactly like tagging. It'll be where Instagram will give you the option to tag a person, but from there, the other account will get a notification that is telling them that you want to be a collaborator with them on a post or a reel. If they accept that invite, then both accounts will appear at the very top of that post. So that feed post or that reel will be coming from both of your accounts, basically.
Oh, wow. So will the reel actually show up on your account and their account? Like a twofer?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll show up on both accounts.
That's amazing. You can double your awareness and your reach just by doing this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this isn't rolled out everywhere right now. So right now, of course, they're testing it in India and the UK. So did they say anything about when, what they're looking for or when this might roll out broadly or even if it will?
No, you know how Instagram is. They're pretty top secret when it comes to this stuff.
Right.
When we see a feature like this come out to be testing like this, there's a good chance that it in some form will become a feature. So it's a good sign that they are testing this. I can say that.
I'm really, really excited about that. Just think if you could get somebody in your industry that you're acquainted with, that you have a good rapport with or engagement, and they have twice the amount of followers you do, and you do a reel and tag them, or a vendor or a superstar interior designer. Maybe you're doing some aspirational design work, something similar to who knows? It's limitless. The possibilities there. You could grow your reach crazy. This is going to be a terrific way too for influencer marketing to monetize their following with people, to have them collab and to share. Oh, there's just so many potential for this. I'm really excited about
super
this.
Exciting.
Let's get on top of this one when it does come out, Emily.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Emily Lisi, thank you again for joining us. We'll see you next week for some more amazing mini news.
Alrighty, awesome.
Mini news sesh. Yeah. All right, before I get into my interview with Erica Reiner, let me tell you a little bit about the woman. Erica is the designer of Eco Method Interiors. Her company helps people transform their space, health, and the planet. She works on full service and eDesign for commercial and residential projects. She also has a podcast called Green by Design. Wingnuts, help me in welcoming Erica Reiner to the Wingnut Social Podcast. Hey there, Erica Reiner. Welcome to the Wingnut Social Podcast. How the hell are you?
I am really well. How the hell are you?
I am doing excellent today. Thank you for, nobody ever asks me. So already warm fuzzies going straight into the show. You care. You really care. I love it. Erica, today we're talking about something that's near and dear to my heart and is kind of like biophilic design, green design, eco design, and you are an expert at this. And before we dig in and tell the audience how they can wrap their business around this niche if they so desire, tell me just a little bit about your experience and what led you down this path, and we'll get started.
Okay, well, thank you so much for having me here. I first heard you on Luann Nigera's podcast, and I was like, oh, I have to know her. So I've been following along a little bit, and our stories are somewhat similar in that we had like a later career change. And so that is something that really stuck out to me about you. Yeah, in my past life, I was in the environmental science industry and an environmental science adjunct professor. And I did a decorating certificate sort of for fun between degrees. And then I was like, how can I love interior design. So did my mom, kind of grew up around it. And I want to start my own business. I wanted that very badly after experiencing what a lot of us experience with feeling underachieved, undervalued, underpaid, underwhelmed, all the things.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I can literally never work for anyone else again. I'm so frustrated. So I wanted to start my own business. And at first I had all these different services and the design was very separate from the eco-friendly part. I talk with my hands and I smack the microphone a lot during this interview. So I was like, okay, it's separate. And then I was like, wait a minute. I think we could marry these two together. And I think I heard the expression niche until it hurts. And I was like, okay, it hurts. So I'm going to niche into eco-friendly interior design. And there's a lot of words for eco-friendly, but I chose that one specifically. So there you have it.
Your previous job experience was in what again?
So I was in the environmental industry for a long time, everything from plastics recycling to solar sales to what else did I do? Oh, I worked at a startup that was trying to do just like electric car sharing and electric car carpooling and stuff like that.
Okay,
and that was
cool.
the last real job I had. Yeah. Oh, and then the environmental science teaching. So I taught at a high school for 1 year, and then I moved up into some local colleges around here, and that I really loved, but it was poverty inducing, so I had to leave it.
I love that. I love that poverty inducing. I drive an electric car, by the way. See, we're bonding even harder. So you've had a passion for the environmental sciences, the green planet kind of thing, even before. Have you always been into interior design?
Yes. What I saw was at our house, my mom did it pretty well. I mean, looking at it now, it's like crazy 80s, 90s stuff, but at the time it was great. And I saw the reaction people would have coming over just with something that looked super pulled together, super expressive and fun and all those kinds of things. And then I inherited the gene, whatever creativity that draws us all to this. It's some sort of subsection of artisticness, right? So I inherited that and I was always rearranging my room and doing things. And so that's why I actually did the decorating certificate for fun. I was like, well, this is a hobby. And then I put it away. I didn't think I was going to do anything with it. I just did it.
I love that. So it's two of your passions uniting together. And you had said that you're niching until it hurts. Or if you've heard Nancy Ganzikoffer, and of course she didn't invent this, but she says it a lot, is the riches are in the niches. Because you can't say the riches are in the niches. But so if I'm hearing you correctly, you had the interior design business, you started that, and you had the eco, but in the beginning, the eco part of the interior design business was kind of like an up level or separate. And now you're doing them both together and that's it.
That's exactly it. So at first, I offered, when you're starting a business and you have no idea what you're doing, it's like, I'll do everything that I think I want to do. I'll do home organizing and interior design and landscape design, and I'll offer like green or sustainability consulting. So it's like, I'll have 5 businesses and it'll be fine. And I'll market all of them successfully. And we know how that went. So, the ones that I did get to experiment, and that's the best way to learn in life. And what I always used to tell my students when I was, lecturing, I would say, like, just get the experience, see what you do and don't want to do. And that was kind of like my business school, it was like self-taught. So the things that I could let go, I did. And then it was really down to like my 2 biggest passions, I guess, the design and the decorating and the emotional transformation and fun stuff we get out of that. And then the eco-friendly stuff, which was so ingrained in me as a part of my identity. I had studied at that point, 6 years of college and then graduate studies.
Okay, so let's talk about, I think we all know what interior design business in general looks like. So what did your up-level package for an eco design, how did that differ from your regular interior design? And then I have a follow-up for you.
So I didn't have an up level. I just had them separately. And then that fell by the wayside. And I was like, okay, they are getting one service, which is interior design, but I'm incorporating the eco-friendly parts into that process. And so what that looks like now, and I do have levels of services. So there's eDesign and then full service, which I guess could be 2 different levels. But I incorporate my whole method, and the eco method interior name of my business is that I have a methodology of weaving in the eco-friendly stuff into every project in a way that makes sense with the aesthetic and the budget and any other project requirements. I wanted to make it as realistic and accessible as possible. So that's my methodology, and everyone gets a special deliverable.
What does the eco-friendly stuff look like? Let me have a couple of examples, and then I want to ask you how narrowing this has impacted your business. for the better, I'm assuming. So give me an example of like what eco-friendly design or what elements of eco-friendly design are in your, design process of maybe a project that you did, just so we can kind of grasp onto that service and what that would look like.
Sure. So eco-friendly is an umbrella term, and within it, we could look at the human health side of things, so exposure to chemicals and toxicity. And on the other side, we can look at the footprint or impact we are having on the earth itself. Sometimes those two things are related, because if you produce and use a bad chemical, that's not great for earth either. But on the flip side, sometimes, just purchasing a salvaged wood table doesn't have too much impact on our health. So it's not always one and the same thing, but there is a lot of overlap on that Venn diagram. So depending on what's important to the client, or say it's both, I figure out a way to incorporate that into my sourcing process based on what I know is available, what I know their budget is, aesthetic, really looking for those vendors who are doing a better job, keeping a detailed, database of that kind of thing. And so that's how I approach it, really, is incorporating the better things into the sourcing process. And I let my clients know what about I'm going to do or what the goals I have through a little green guide I give them that's customized for them.
So is it similar at all to like a vegan design thing, or is that a totally different animal? Well, no pun intended.
I love that. Pun intended. It has a through line in the putting something that's important to you, ethics first. I would never attach myself to vegan design because I actually make a very strong case for how sustainable leather is and how unsustainable petroleum-based alternatives are, and toxicity-wise as well. There are problems in both areas, but healthier alternatives also. So in that, vegan design would be green if everyone in the world stopped eating meat. But as of now, the problem is that we all eat too much meat and have hides as a byproduct. And if we don't use them, they're getting burned or buried. And that's such a waste of such a valuable material.
I was going to ask you what the sustainability argument was. So thank you for asking that. Okay. So now that we kind of have an idea of the methodology and the ideology, I guess we could say, behind the design, tell me how niching to this passion and you being the go-to designer for eco-friendly design for people who this is important to has affected your bottom line.
Absolutely. And just zooming out a little bit, I can't believe I'm on like a marketing podcast, because marketing, when I started, and especially when I didn't have the niche dialed down, and I thought about marketing and like there was, just the wheels spinning, but the complete overwhelm. I was just like a deer in the headlights, and you would hear all these things from different, gurus and this and that. And it took me years to pick up what resonated with me and let the rest go and test and change and come up with a strategy. And the most important part for me is that it has to be in alignment with who I am, what I like, and how it makes me feel. So I do not do certain things that could work for other people, because if it just feels icky for me or not in alignment, I'm not going to do it, because there's so much you could do in the world of marketing that when I was first presented with like, okay, now I got to sell this thing, I nearly shut down. I was like, that was the most difficult part. It's almost like you have to start a new business learning how to be a professional marketer. It's like, wait, I didn't get into interior design to learn how to be a professional marketer. You somehow did both. That's why this is magical. And I'm so glad to know you and be here. But most of us can only do the one business and barely figure that out. So it was years of testing and changing, figuring out what I liked, what I didn't like, and learning how to really let go of the stuff that I was like, not for me, no big deal. I don't have to do that to be successful. So I focused on, let's say, like one of the main foundations for me is search engine optimization. And that has a few different spokes coming off of that wheel. But the reason why that felt really good for me is I am all about bringing my ideal client to me. Like, I am now no longer interested in working with people who are not my ideal client.
Amen.
at first, when I was first building a portfolio, I was pushing my green values on people. And they're like, I don't know, is it going to cost more? I was like, a little bit, but it'll be great and it'll last longer. And stuff like that. Like I didn't want to have to overcome that hurdle anymore. And as we all were at the beginning, very anxious to get to the type of clientele who, wasn't going to nickel and dime you, or the kind of person who is nice and pleasant and trusting, stuff like that. So I am all about trying to get the ideal client to come to me. And so that means someone who is already researching, looking for someone who might be me, and I want to be the one to pop up and be like, you found me, this is it. So that's why search engine optimization is one of my key pillars. And then within that, I do things to boost it. So stuff like PR comes into play with that. If I get to get link backs in other people's articles or mentions from big websites like Apartment Therapy, that has been great for like social proof, so to speak, that I'm able to say on my website, on my Instagram, and anywhere else, like, hey, check out, I got quoted again in such and such. And so I do that through replying to article writers, blog writers, magazines, stuff like that.
Have you visited our sponsor, buildlane.com? If you haven't, why haven't you? When I was doing full-time interior design in Miami, Florida, I would have given my whole collection of Star Wars action figures to have known about Build Lane because we were doing a buttload of custom furniture work. The logistics were awful, but Build Lane, the genius behind them is they've solved that. They are basically a one-stop shop for all of your custom furniture needs. They have a whole stable full of vetted vendors that are capable of building almost anything you can imagine. And all you have to do is give them a fully specified CAD file or a pencil drawing on a cocktail napkin, and Build Lane is going to match the needs of the piece that you need with one of their highly vetted factories that has all the capabilities to make that. And they'll return a quote to you. You get your own little manager. You can show your clients, here is your beautiful piece getting built along the way. Aren't you freaking excited? Guys, this is the perfect opportunity to up-level your interior design game to make yourself that designer who can offer things that no other designer can. You need to get over to buildlane.com fast. And be sure to use the special code WINGNUT250 for $250 off of that whole situation right there. That's buildlane.com, Wingnut250. You're going to love them. So what I hear you saying, Erica, your journey sounds kind of similar to mine in that when I started out too, I was wearing so many different hats and had so many different avenues of design. And again, we're trying to build our portfolio in the beginning. We're feeling out, what works, what doesn't work. And it wasn't until I kind of niched into a certain kind of design, a certain contemporary design, which was my style, and really showing that and displaying that work that I started getting my ideal clients. Now, I didn't even niche nearly as specific as you are, but I guess what I'm getting at. Oh, and by the way, if anyone out there doesn't want to waste years on marketing, just call us, Wingnut Social. We'll handle all that for you.
Call them.
Call us, Erica. I guess what I'm saying is now that you are so laser focused after all these years of trial and error and working, and you have the SEO working, and I'm assuming you have social media working. Like I said, if you're not, give me a call. And you're getting these ideal clients coming in. A lot of designers are afraid to niche because they're afraid they're going to lose business. They're afraid their margins are going to go down or they're going to alienate certain people. So in your words, how has it benefited you from attracting clients, having a full pipeline, the amount you're able to charge, that kind of thing? More so than, the marketing that led to that, which I can 100% appreciate. But just where are you at now with your clients that you're getting now? Does that make sense?
Sure. First of all, I feel like your niche is more specific than mine because I almost feel like I design to so many different styles. I'm dying to know what you think about. I have so many answers. I wish I had thoughts. I wish I could write them down right now. But on that vein of thought, before I lose it, I designed such different kinds of aesthetics for so many different kinds of projects. I wonder if that hurts me on the Instagram, and I have always thought like, people who seem to do really well on the socials seem to present a single aesthetic, and then that draws that kind of client to them.
Yeah.
I love doing different aesthetics all the time. So I always wonder if that is not in my favor, but yet I do have a through line of a niche that can be applied to all different styles. So I don't know what the answer is to that. As far as how it has helped, so I went full time, let's say in like 2018. And that first year I flopped around, threw all the spaghetti at the wall, failed miserably. And it was only really until like I started getting my legs under me, let's say in early 2020 is when things started to change. So I planted my marketing seeds for 4 years in all different kinds of things. And then they started to sprout and grow in different kinds of ways. And my search engine optimization through, again, that's a big umbrella term for a lot of different things, is starting to pay off in that way. And now I'm getting people and the exact right kinds of calls coming in and being like, is this what you do? Blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah.
Right.
So especially in the residential market. Full disclosure, I'm still very much a work in progress, trying to figure this marketing thing out and trying to figure out, okay, I seem to have gotten, since I do design across sectors, I seem to have gotten the residential, warm leads coming to me down. Now I really want to get those commercial clients, which was just off the table in 2020 for offices and common spaces, and really tap into the short-term rental and investment markets too. So that's what I'm working on now, and I'll be
on building your
later.
commercial leads. That's something that you can do too. For interior designers, I really highly recommend LinkedIn, but there's other avenues and there's certain ways you can craft your strategy, which is an entirely different show for that. But, to attract that, but start in LinkedIn, some of the Facebook groups for that. So what I heard you say earlier is you're like, you do design for several different styles and you're wondering if that might be hurting you. And you've noticed other designers are doing really well just niching with one style, and you want kind of thinking, should I be double niching really? But what also I heard you say that was super important was that you love designing in different styles. So, that's something you have to take a deep dive on. I don't really like to recommend people going against something that you love to do, because if that's your passion, I think passion sometimes can overcome just a straight marketing philosophy. Well, I really should only be doing this because this seems to be the niche that's working, but if you're passionate about doing multiple, there's Lisa Christine Interiors. She does the same thing. She does multiple styles for her clients, and she's doing extraordinarily well also. So you don't necessarily have to just niche to only one style if that's not what you love to do, is what I'm trying to say.
Thank you. I needed that. Sometimes you just need that permission. And that's kind of exactly, so everyone listening just heard me flip-flopping back and forth between the beginning where I was like, it took me, years to figure out what not to do, what doesn't resonate. And now within a microcosm of just Instagram, I'm like, wait, what resonates and what doesn't? And do I pay attention to that or go with the flow of what everyone else is doing?
Well, so what you want to do on Instagram is just make sure that the niche that you do have, the eco niche, is front and center in all of your posts, and that your aesthetic, even the colors, the white backgrounds are all consistent. And then you can still post different styles on Instagram.
Yeah. There we go.
All right. What were you going to say? Sorry.
No. This is why I'm here, to learn from the master. So to answer the question about like, what would I say to other people who are afraid to niche and exclude potential clients? That like really lit a fire in me when you were asking that. And I wanted to circle back to that badly after that other spiel, because that is something I'm working on right now too. And that's a mindset. That's a scarcity mindset, that there's not going to be enough for you in your particular niche. And I just don't believe that in my conscious, and I'm trying to get my subconscious to get on board with me and get rid of thoughts that are harmful, because there's going to be enough. If you niche into something you're very passionate about, that's the end of the story, period.
Well, I'd have to say too that I think that eco design, I don't see a scarcity in that demand for this, especially after COVID. And this brings me to my next question. Have you seen a ramp up in demand for people looking for eco-friendly design, eco-friendly services since COVID happened? Are people more aware of having healthier spaces and et cetera?
Yes. Well, luckily, I've been seeing an increase in awareness in general about environmental issues, human health issues over the past 10 years, and then especially the past 5 years, and then for 2020, I could draw a very, 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 very long bow between something like a virus like COVID-19 and human health, environmental health. I would have to put my professor hat on and do a whole new podcast episode for you on that. I see a very indirect link. I don't know what other links people are seeing other than just general awareness about health, environment, people, planet. Like it seems to just have like entered the background noise of their brains. I don't think it directly connects in any one way, except for this like long theory I could tell you later. But overall, yeah, I guess it triggered something in people. And I do think it, sprinkled a little bit more light on that topic.
I definitely see a ton of rabid interest in it. In fact, some of my most popular episodes have been around this subject. I don't know if you had a chance to listen to, I forget the episode number. It'll be in the show notes at wingnutsocial.com/podcast. The interview that we did with Mike Peterson and Michelle Castagna on biophilic design. Mike Peterson had a program called Design Harmony, which would give interior designers certification in this so they can show it to clients and listen, I'm certified in this kind of thing. I'm not 100% sure. Forgive me, Mike. You'll have to go check out his website in the show notes that'll be in there and see if that's active yet. But it's been super popular. So, which leads me to, what would you like to see more of in the interior design industry towards going green? What are some of the positive aspirations for the industry in this niche?
Yes. I mean, I am and have been seeing a greater interest on our home pros side of things in addition to the clientele, which is actually why I started my own podcast, which is very new. I'm only in season 2. So 20 episodes in total. The point of that is to continue, my love for education and teach other home pros and designers what it is I'm doing, why I do it, what are tips and tricks, how-tos, what to be aware of, anything under the sun in that topic. Again, so super niche podcast.
Share the name. What is it?
It's called Green by Design.
Awesome.
And so, yeah, that's a piece of the marketing puzzle as well to help me be an authority and a leader in that industry, which is exactly what I aim to be. And then altruistically, I get to share things with this entire industry, helping it move forward into a cleaner, greener space. It gives me the heebie-jeebies to think about, not just our individual contributions to things happening on this planet and our health, but as an industry, it is a big contributor to a lot of the environmental problems that we have. And again, just to stress that environmental problems are human health problems, are one and the same always. So when I was thinking back at the beginning and I was like, okay, how I cannot leave my identity behind as an environmentalist, and this is so important to me, I have to bring it along. And I'm so glad that I did. And now I'm able to share that with other people because we have so much improvement to do. And it's kind of just like the agriculture industry and even the fashion industry, how there has been pushback and a movement towards cleaner and greener for everybody's sake. And even, ethical implications of social issues. So now, see, I'm on a tangent and I lost the point of it. Got going there. I guess as far as the podcast, like that is absolutely what I want to achieve with that. And then we're really exponentially like impacting people because then those designers work with their clients and then those designers make more demands for our vendors. And that's a really key piece of the puzzle.
Awesome. I love that. And guys, go over and listen to Erica's podcast, which is Green by Design. Erica, would you be game to continuing this conversation over in Wingnut Premium? I would like to just touch a little bit more on this, but also in the green room, you told me that you had an excellent methodology for client satisfaction when you go to projects for onboarding and offboarding to get referrals. Is that something that you would be open to sharing with the Wingnut Premium group? And then we'll get into the What Up Wingnut round.
Absolutely. We can't leave it hanging there. We have to keep the convo going. So let's do it.
All right, cool. So before we go over there, and guys, if you're not a member of Wingnut Premium, go to wingnutpremium.com where I will continue my conversation with Erica. Before I catch you over on Wingnut Premium, please tell the listeners where they can go to find out more about you.
You can come visit me at ecomethodinteriors.com.
I have to ask you, are you ready for the What Up Wingnut round?
I hope so. Let's give it a shot.
Now it's time for What Up Wingnut.
What would the hashtag on your tombstone be?
Who put this hashtag on my tombstone? I'm going to haunt you forever. Get this hashtag off of here and write something nice about me.
All right. You are stuck on a deserted island, but you can have one of your favorite foods, like forever. What's it going to be?
Oh, this is so hard. I think it's going to be Korean food. Can I pick that as a whole genre?
Well, can we be more specific?
Do I get all of... Okay.
No. Nice try, though.
Okay, I think it's going to be the bibimbap bowls with all the kimchis.
God bless you. What is it?
I don't know. bibimbap.
All right, I'm going to take your word for that one. And last but not least, what is a book that you have read that has had a profound impact on you, either personally or professionally?
The book that professionally kicked me into gear. Oh, God, there's two. Can I give two? Okay. The first one I was going to say was Jen Sincero's You Are a Badass.
Yep. Good one.
No, wait. You Are a Badass at Making Money. I read first, then I went back and read the other one. That one was very profound for me. And then also when, personally and professionally, David Allen's Getting Things Done was hugely helpful to me when I was having some trouble adulting.
Adulting is hard. Those are two very good recommendations. I have them both. Guys, go over to wingnutsocial.com/podcast to get the links for those. If you need those recommendations and you don't have a pen and paper, can't write them down. Erica Reiner, thank you so much. I'm going to meet you over in the Wingnut Premium Studio and we will continue.
Okay. See you there.
See you there. All right. Erica had a lot to say. And, Erica and I have a lot of parallels in the fact that this is her second career. I mean, we're about the same age. Just kidding. No, she's super, super young, right? I don't know how old you are, Erica, but I know that you're a little bit younger than my 53. So there you go. Anyway, the parallels, she had a different career. I had a different career. We went into the interior design business and we both learned things the hard way. And forgive me if I'm wrong, Erica, but you strike me as someone who might be a little hard-headed as well. You kind of have to experience things to really learn what's working for you, to have it really kind of hit you over the head and knock you in the face to be like, oh, okay, yeah, this is what works and this isn't what's working for me and my business. So I totally get that. It resonates with me. I'm sure it resonates with the audience out there with what's working for you. And I love your reinforcement that really just not to be afraid to be specific and have that scarcity mindset of niching and doing what you love to attract that ideal client. And then there is a fine line there, right? Between saying, I must do this, I must do this, I must do this, versus doing things that you love. Like we talked about, she's like, oh, I know I should maybe specify in this one aesthetic, but I love doing all the stuff. Well, then do all the stuff, because part of being successful in business isn't just being successful and bringing in the money, but also doing what you love. So there's a fine line and a happy medium there. And there are plenty of designers who don't specify in any aesthetic, but what you're doing right, you're doing it all right. But you are niching. You are niching because whether or not you are going and doing a variety of different aesthetics, you're niching with it being you are the go-to eco designer, whether it's transitional, contemporary, traditional, mid-century, whatever it is that you like to do. So good to freaking go. It's not brain surgery. You don't have to niche. I only specialize in putting vases on your shelf. That's it. Blue vases made in Puerto Rico. That's it. And if you're that client who needs that, I'm the girl for you. Now, so you can get a little too specific as well. So good on you, guys. Go out there, specialize in whatever the hell makes you happy and gives you successful clients. Let's find a happy medium like Mickey Dane. Do you remember Mickey Dane? Some of y'all are going to get that joke. If you don't, send me an email to darla@wingnutsocial.com and I will, I'll tell you how funny I am. All right. I'm going to head on over to Wingnut Premium to continue my conversation with Erica. She has an amazing little method to get referrals from her clients that are related to this eco niche. And I cannot wait to hear what it is. If you're not a member, again, that's wingnutpremium.com. And we will see you there. And other than that, we'll see you next week. Remember to get out there, get uncomfortable, and be great.
You've reached the end of this episode of Wingnut Social, but that's only the first step into accelerating your business the Wingnut way. Head on over to wingnutsocial.com to see how we can help you take your business from social mediocre to social media master.
And my burp. Oh man, that was a good one. You must be disgusted. I can't sit still. I have to click, 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 click. Get that dopamine. Click, click, click. All right.
My husband has what I call cell yell. So when he's on the phone or a meeting, he can't control the volume of his voice. So I just try and accommodate that.
Good boy, Mango.